Hello, and welcome to Impact. We're excited you're here to learn about inclusion and how Impact can support your early learning program. This brief video will prepare you for getting started with Impact services. You'll learn what inclusion is, why it's important, and how Impact can help you get there. You'll learn about the training and consultation services we offer, how Impact uses SMART goals to give you actionable steps to take, and the fundamental tenets that guide our work. If you're ready to make your early learning program an inclusive place where all students thrive, let's get you started. The Division of Early Childhood and the National Association for the Education of Young Children define inclusion as follows. Early childhood inclusion embodies the values, policies, and practices that support the right of every infant and young child and his or her family, regardless of ability, to participate in a broad range of activities and contexts as full members of families, communities, and society. Simply put, inclusion means children of all abilities belong in the early learning classroom. Some children just need a little extra support to be successful. Children with special healthcare needs is a broad term that includes a variety of differences. Children might have a medical need. This could be allergies, a feeding tube, seizures, or a medical diagnosis such as cerebral palsy. Children with special healthcare needs might be children with developmental concerns or red flags. This could be a delay in walking, talking, eating, social emotional skills, problem solving, or a delay in any area of development. Children with behavioral concerns may need extra help being successful during classroom routines, learning to interact with peers appropriately, or have sensory needs. It also includes children who have experienced trauma or who have a mental health condition such as anxiety, attachment disorder, autism, or others. Keep in mind, a child doesn't need to have a diagnosis in any of these categories to be considered a child with a special healthcare need. Impact can support you in caring for children who are at increased risk in any of these areas. Being inclusive also means being mindful of inequities that undermine healthy development. Children's ability, race, socioeconomic status, gender, all these factors impact children's access to early childhood education, as well as how they are supported and served. Did you know that Black boys in preschool are twice as likely to be expelled compared to preschoolers who are white? Research shows that our implicit biases affect which children are labeled as children with challenging behaviors. And we know children of color are more likely to be identified as a child with special healthcare needs. This is why equity is so ingrained in our mission. When we talk about equity, we recognize that life is not an equal playing field. We want to give children what they need when they need it, and that is going to depend on their unique lived experiences. Inclusion is a journey. So sometimes as individuals and programs who are still learning about inclusion, we might think we are doing it when we're actually doing something else. So imagine here, the white dots are children who are typically developing, and the blue dots are children with special healthcare needs. Remember, the blue dots could simply be a child who has a developmental delay or a child whose behaviors are challenging. And let's start by looking at exclusion. For a long time in education, children with special needs were completely excluded from school. Unfortunately, we still see this happening, where children with special healthcare needs aren't allowed to enroll at some early childhood programs or are asked to leave if their behaviors or needs become too much. Something else we see is separation, where children of all abilities are enrolled but are separated at times. For instance, while typically developing kids participate in circle time, children with special healthcare needs are taken to another room to do a different activity. One step closer to inclusion is integration. This is where children with special healthcare needs are in the classroom but are not participating in the activities with their typically developing peers. There are no accommodations or effort made to support their learning and engagement in the whole group. For example, during circle time, maybe all of the typically developing children are seated at circle together, while a child with challenging behaviors is wandering the classroom without support, and no adult is making the effort to help them participate. Our goal is inclusion. In an inclusive classroom, children who are typically developing and children with special healthcare needs are together for all routines and activities. In an inclusive classroom, students are given individual accommodations to participate in all of the same activities with their friends. Examples of accommodations you might use at circle time include alternative seating, like a wiggle seat for a child with sensory needs or a cube chair for a child who needs extra physical support. Or teachers might use sign language and pictures along with verbal instructions for a child who has language delays. Inclusion in early childhood is not making the child change, but adapting teacher and program practices to support the needs of each child. Research has shown that inclusive early learning benefits not only children with special healthcare needs, but also children who are typically developing, who learn to appreciate diversity. Inclusion benefits teachers and administrators who become more skilled at individualizing and differentiating learning. Inclusion benefits the families who get childcare, but also a deep sense of belonging. And by teaching inclusion at an early age, this ripples out. These children grow up to become inclusive adults in a community where everyone is welcome. In order to transform early learning into a truly inclusive community, we have to identify the non-inclusive practices that still exist. Examples we've seen are programs that have a developmental requirement. For example, does your preschool require that children are potty trained? Do you require a child to be walking before they move up from the infant classroom to the toddler room? Because children develop on different timelines, we need to individualize accommodations so kids can stay with their same age peers and be successful. Another non-inclusive practice is not maintaining confidentiality when talking with parents. We know it can be hard sometimes to navigate family relationships, so it's important for your staff to develop a skill set and a mindset to communicate effectively and confidentially with families around challenging behaviors or children's diagnoses. Sometimes non-inclusive practices are obvious, like when enrollment requests are denied because a child has a particular diagnosis. Sometimes children are expelled because of their unique needs. They're asked to leave, or families are told they have to find alternate care. Did you know that preschoolers are 3 times more likely to be expelled than students in grades K through 12? Or that preschoolers with disabilities or social emotional challenges make up 3/4 of expulsions, even though they're only 12% of the student population? And sometimes expulsion is subtle. For example, when a child's behaviors become challenging for a program, their parent may be asked to pick the child up early or only come part-time. Parents are made to feel like their child is too much, or every day at pickup, teachers are giving an update to parents that their child is difficult. Children are listening. They internalize those messages, and being labeled the difficult kid not only impacts the child's self-esteem, but increases the chances that the teacher is expecting misbehavior from that child and therefore sees more instances of challenging behavior from that child. Sometimes families are told they have to provide a one-on-one aid, which essentially forces them out of care. Or they're told they can't continue at a program unless the child receives an outside evaluation or services. These are all types of expulsion. We are Impact, the inclusion mentorship program for increasing access in childcare teams. We want to partner with your early learning program to build your inclusive capacity so that you can welcome all children and keep them enrolled. Impact is a multidisciplinary team of inclusion consultants with backgrounds in early childhood education, administration, mental health, and early intervention. Our team also includes a public health nurse, occupational therapist, physical therapist, and speech language pathologist. We work with early learning providers that serve children aged birth to 5, such as licensed childcare centers, licensed family homes, and license-exempt part-day preschools, including extended day programs and outdoor preschool programs. Please visit our website or email us for more information on becoming a partner program. Impact offers a variety of services customized based on your unique needs to ensure your whole team feels confident, including children of all abilities. With Impact's nurse consultation, our public health nurse can guide you on health and safety practices, including care plans and infant room visits. Through teacher and admin consultation, we meet with providers to problem solve and brainstorm together. And Impact offers professional development trainings related to all things inclusion. Pick from a menu of existing offerings or have our team customize a training just for your staff. The needs of each program are different, so meetings can take place by video, phone, or in person. We strive to be linguistically responsive and offer interpretation and translation services depending on your needs. We offer engaging professional development on all things inclusion. Some of our most requested topics are listed here. We offer a series on challenging behaviors in the classroom, as well as a series on sensory strategies. We also provide comprehensive training on the Ages and Stages Questionnaire Developmental Screener. Please see our website for a full list of offerings. Or we can customize a training for your program. Just send us a request. Here's what one director who used Impact for staff training had to say. We had a training which was the best class our experienced staff ever took. They are still talking about what they learned. Impact trainings are one of a kind and filled with real-world strategies your staff can put into practice the very next day. In addition to trainings, Impact offers consultation services to support you at all levels, program-wide, in individual classrooms, and with specific children. To support you at the program level, we offer trainings, public health nurse consultation, and support with universal screeners like the Ages and Stages Questionnaire. Impact mentors directors to create a program-wide inclusive culture, and we also host community gatherings where we connect directors from different early learning programs so they can receive support from their peers. The magic of Impact's program support happens through a phenomenon called parallel process. By holding space for directors and admin to self-reflect and model a growth and learning mindset, they in turn cultivate reflection in their teachers, who then show up in this way to support the children in their classrooms. At the classroom level, Impact guides teachers on best practices for inclusion that will benefit all children in the classroom. Impact consultation helps teachers with individualized instruction, partnering with families, and creating a healthy and safe environment. We help teachers customize strategies for children with challenging behaviors, developmental delays, or trauma history. Our consultants may suggest sensory strategies, visual supports, or tools for self-regulation. When a child has needs that are more specific, with parent consent, Impact supports teachers to create behavior support plans and helps teachers balance individualized support for one child while also meeting the needs of all children in their classroom. We offer specialized observations, early childhood mental health consultation, or nurse consultation. We can support programs with finding community resources and making appropriate referrals. If children are already receiving services, we help teachers identify classroom strategies to work toward IFSP or IEP goals. So what does Impact consultation look like? Here are some examples of things our inclusion consultants do in classroom consultation. We can help you to understand the sensory needs of your students and how to use sensory strategies to reduce challenging behaviors. We coach on the use of language strategies such as signs, gestures, and visuals to support communication in the classroom. Consultation might focus on children's self-regulation, where teachers and consultants brainstorm activities to help children identify feelings or implement coping strategies they can use in the classroom, or reimagine the classroom space and create a cozy area to support emotional regulation. Here's what one teacher who worked with us had to say. My favorite part of consultation is being able to have someone to trust and someone who understands the behaviors in my class, and that I'm doing my best to help the students. Program consultation ensures that directors and admin are involved with impact from day one. Working closely with leadership empowers your program to become independent in inclusive practices and continue this work beyond impact services. Here are examples of program consultation. Our team assists program administrators with creating inclusive policies and procedures, such as writing an inclusion statement for your parent handbook, or making sure new hires receive training on inclusive practices as part of their onboarding. We can help you create care plans, for example, for children who have allergies, need dietary accommodations, take medication, or use medical equipment. We support directors with leadership skills so you feel confident partnering with families or having challenging conversations. And because reflective consultation is at the heart of what we do, directors gain skills to independently continue impact style of reflective coaching with their teachers in the future. A director who received our services said, Impact is able to break down the big ideas into easy to learn skills and knowledge for teachers to use in their classrooms. We use SMART goals to guide consultation and measure your progress. Together, we will create a SMART goal at each consultation session so you have a clear goal to work toward until we meet again. This allows us to take action and create real change. What makes something a SMART goal? The S in SMART stands for specific. Together with your consultant, you'll decide on one behavior or action to take in your classroom. M stands for measurable. Goals will be clear and measurable so you can track your progress and know when your goal is met. A, goals are achievable. We'll set goals that you have the tools and resources to achieve. R, goals are relevant. Your goal is worthwhile and leads to a more inclusive environment. And T for time-based. Your goal has a deadline, usually something you can accomplish by the time you meet with your consultant again. Here's an example. Reduce challenging behaviors in the classroom is not a SMART goal. While it might be the focus of our work together, your consultant will help you break that down into actual steps and strategies that you can take action on each week. Here's an example of a SMART goal that could help reduce challenging behaviors in your class. For the next week, use a visual schedule at circle time to create clear expectations for children. It's detailed, actionable, and teachers know exactly which strategy they'll be using to work toward their ultimate goal of a more inclusive classroom. We're excited to share with you some of the changes our partner programs have reported. After receiving impact services, providers are more willing to enroll children with disabilities or special healthcare needs, are less likely to expel children, are able to see the value in reflecting on their practice as an educator or director, are more knowledgeable about strategies for supporting children's unique needs and challenging behaviors, and are more independent in brainstorming and implementing new strategies to support children of all abilities. Now that you understand the impact services, we want to share with you the principles that guide our work. We believe all children can learn when given the proper support. Early learning providers are our primary customer. Children spend upwards of 40 hours a week with you. We maximize positive outcomes for children by working directly with you, the teachers and directors who care for them. And building provider capacity is our primary focus. Preventing expulsion is a priority. We provide holistic training and support to decrease provider stress and increase your capacity and confidence in working with children with higher needs. The Impact Program is a partnership. You have a wealth of knowledge and expertise and know the children you care for best. We partner with you using strengths-based coaching and mentorship. Engagement from program leadership is crucial for lasting change. Directors, we want you to be a resource for your staff and continuing inclusion beyond impact services. Diagnosis is not a barrier to services. We can support you for any child or group of children who need extra support to be successful in the classroom. All types of early learning programs can benefit from impact services. We've worked with Montessori, Reggio, Waldorf, outdoor preschools, licensed family homes, child care centers, faith-based programs, among others. If you welcome diversity and value the inclusion of children of all abilities, we look forward to working with you too. And finally, data collection and provider feedback are foundational to our success. We are continually learning and growing, and we welcome provider feedback so we can better serve you. Impact is with you every step of the way on your inclusion journey. If you're watching this video right now, you've already discovered Impact. Typically, we'll have an initial phone call to learn about your program's needs and dreams and set up an intake meeting. If you're receiving classroom consultation, we'll schedule a time to observe so we can see you in action, and then ongoing consultation can begin. Many programs choose to participate in professional development in addition to consultation. Are you ready to join us and build a more inclusive world for early learning? If you haven't already, please be in touch with us to get started, or email impact@nwcenter.org. Give us a call at 206-691-2587 or visit our website, www.nwcenter.org/impact, where you can meet our team and learn more about our training and consultation services. If you want to connect with us more, we're on Instagram. You can find us at our handle, NWC Kids Impact. Be sure to follow us. Here we post lots of tips and tricks and recommendations to support you in working with children. We look forward to connecting with you soon.